Hello, and welcome to a world of whimsy, where past is pitted against present and fantasy becomes reality. With a little luck and a smidge of strategy, you'll build a team of charming critters and mythical beasts, then face your family and friends in battle. The element of surprise lurks in every hand. Things are not always as they seem. The only thing that's certain is that there can only be one winner. The main object of the game is to eliminate all of your opponent's animal cards. You do so by either stealing or destroying them in battle. Let's get right to it. In this clever card game, we have a variety of cards, but they can be categorized into three main categories. 1. Animal cards, which are indicated with a power level in the top left corner. 2. Legend cards, which all have different actions they can perform. And 3. A few other cards which aid in gameplay. There is also 1 red attack die, as well as 3 gold star tokens, which indicate the winners of each battle. So I'll first explain a 2-player game for simplicity's sake, but the mechanics of the game are the same with a 3 or 4-player game. In a 2-player game, you first start by shuffling the deck, and either dealing or splitting the cards evenly. Both players take their face-down cards and pick the top 10 cards to start with their initial hand. If you pick up a wildfire card in your initial 10 cards, you can shuffle it into your opponent's face-down deck. I'll explain what that card does in just a bit. Pick up an additional card and make sure you have 10 cards to start. In the off chance that either player does not pick up a single animal card, the deck needs to be reshuffled and redealt. The youngest player always starts first, and players take turns in a clockwise direction. On your turn, you have 1 of 4 actions to perform. 1. Pick up a new card from your face-down pile. 2. Perform an attack. 3. Use a legend card against an opponent. Or 4. Pick up a single resting animal. Picking up a new card from your face-down pile allows you to slowly build up your army. The only issue you can come across while picking up is the dreaded wildfire card. But don't worry, this card only applies if you have 15 or more cards in your hand. If you have 15 or more cards and you pick up a wildfire card, you must roll the die. Shuffle your cards and randomly get rid of the number of cards shown on the die. Rolling a 1 will automatically reduce your cards to 15, no matter how many you have in your hand. There is 1 rainstorm card in the deck. If you have this card and you pick up a wildfire card in the future, you can use this to put out the wildfire and it will have no effect. I'm going to explain how to perform an attack. In order to attack, you must first have either an energy card or a steel energy card. They are essentially the same, but if you use a steel energy card and you win the battle, you get to take one of your opponent's energy cards if they have one. If you lose the battle, they receive the steel energy card. Energy cards are never destroyed. The object of performing an attack is to try and destroy as many of your opponent's animal cards during the battle. You do so by either playing a single card or a set of 2 or more matching animal cards. There can only be 1 winner in a battle, and the winner takes all, so be careful. You take turns placing your animal cards that get higher in value each time, either by a single higher card or a higher matching set. For a simple example, I will place a single dodo card as my first attacking animal. The defender will then place a single cross, which is higher in strength. You can then place an even higher single paula card. The battle continues until one side gives up or doesn't have any higher cards. In the case of a tie card, the one who initiated the attack always wins. Here is another example of how a battle could go. You place a single dodo card. Your opponent places a single sly card. You place a set of 2 Henry. Your opponent places a set of 2 spot cards. And you place a set of 3 Lennys. Your opponent gives up. However, the opponent does not get let off so easily in defeat when a set of 2 or more cards are played. If you beat an opponent with a set of 2 matching animal cards or more, the loser must sacrifice 1 card less than the number of cards in the set played by the attacking player. So in this case, if you won with a set of 3 Lennys, the opponent must sacrifice an additional 2 cards in defeat. These cards will be discarded because more than 3 cards have been played. Here is one more example of how a battle could go. You place a single Henry. Your opponent places 3 hedges. You place 4 dodos. Again, the opponent cannot defeat the matching set of 4 dodos, so they will have to sacrifice 3 additional cards in defeat. One card less than the number of cards in the set played by the attacking player. I'm going to explain how to collect animals from your opponent and recover resting animals after a battle. Once a winner is determined, if the loser has played 3 or more animal cards, they all go into the game's discard pile. If the loser played 2 or less animal cards, these go into the winner's hand. On the winner's side, only the highest card or set that the winner won with goes into a resting animals area, which can be a spot right in front of you or off to the side. The remaining animals you use in battle, as well as the original energy card, will go back into your hand. The resting animals area is an area where your champions of battle need to rest. They have to rest for at least one whole round, and are vulnerable to either being stolen or destroyed by your opponent. So if, for example, your opponent initiates an attack and you win that battle, you place the winning card or cards into your resting area. It is now your turn, but you cannot pick up that resting animal just yet, not until your next turn. This gives an opportunity for your opponent to place a legend card that can destroy that resting animal. Once your resting animals have been resting for one full round of play, you may choose to pick up a single resting animal card in the order that they were placed in the resting area. One card per turn. I'm now going to introduce you to animal cards. Note that the animal cards have 3 different color strips of orange, blue, and purple. This just indicates that the lower strength orange animal cards, while weak on their own, can potentially be built up to a strong team of 6. The blue animals each have a matching set of 5. And the purple animals have a matching set of 4. So even though a set of 3 Lennies can feel like a very strong hand, they can be easily defeated by a set of 4 Dodos. Even a set of 2 Dodos can defeat a single Lenny. Legend cards. The legend cards are specialty cards that give you the ability to perform various tricks during your turn. These legend cards cannot be used during a battle. Talon. Roll the die when playing Talon. The number rolled in the die is the number of cards you can steal at random from a chosen player. The player you steal from must have at least 15 cards in their hand. Your opponents do not have to tell you how many cards they have. If you play this card and the opponent does not have 15 cards or more, you waste the card. Hero. Roll the die when playing Hero. The number rolled is the number of resting animals you can steal from a chosen player. Roll a 1 and you steal all of that opponent's resting animals. When Phoenix is played, all the opponent's resting cards get destroyed and placed in the discard pile. Finnegan. When Finnegan is played, you can pick up all of your resting animals at once. This counts as your turn. Dragon cannot block Finnegan. Archer. When Archer is played, you shuffle the discard pile into your own deck, or an opponent's deck. The Archer played will be the first card of the new discard pile. Your opponent cannot use Dragon to block putting the discard pile back into your own deck. Dragon. Dragon can block action cards played against you. They can also be used to block another Dragon card played. Lastly, there are 2 more special legend cards that can only be used during a battle. Trumpet. Trumpet represents the strongest set of 4 animals. Only a set of 5 or 6 animals can beat Trumpet. However, Rainbow with a roll of 4 or more can defeat Trumpet. Here's how Trumpet can be used in a battle. My opponent has played 3 Dodos. I can beat that with a Trumpet card, which is worth 4 animals. The only way a Trumpet can be beat is if my opponent plays 5 or 6 animals of the same type. So for example, 5 Dodos would defeat my Trumpet. Rainbow. Roll the die when playing Rainbow. Rainbow becomes a set of the highest number shown. For example, if you roll a 6, then Rainbow becomes the strongest set of 6 animals, which is unbeatable. Here's how Rainbow can be used in a battle. I played 3 Dodo cards. My opponent played a Trumper card, which is worth 4 animal cards. Now I'm going to play a Rainbow card for a chance of winning if I roll a 4, 5, or 6 with the die. Nice! I got it! These 2 special characters are no exception to the resting animals rule. So if you do use one of them, they do still have to rest after a battle. This means they could be stolen or destroyed by your opponent after use. They, however, do not count as regular animal cards. So if you run out of regular animal cards, but still have either of these 2 legends, you still lose. So that is the basics of the Animals and Legends gameplay. In a 2 to 3 player game, the battles can become quite intense with the player initiating a multiple attack and all players having to defend against it using their animals. This is an example of 2 attacks played with 3 players. This is where the star tokens becomes quite important to keep track of the winner of each battle, as the collecting of animals happens when the entire attack is complete. It starts to get really interesting when you can perform multiple attacks on your opponents in order to try and wipe their animals out aggressively. The battle sequences are performed the same, but rather than just a single battle, you can initiate up to 3 battles at the same time. The attacker has to lay down their initial cards for separate battles. Then each battle has to determine a winner before moving on to the next battle. If either player runs out of animal cards during these attacks, you lose. The only exception is if you have resting animals, which in that case you are protected from defeat. The collection and resting animals process after each battle still remains the same. The game is a clever mixture of luck and strategy, and plays a little like poker where you have to feel like you have a strong hand before going all in for an attack. You can even build your own strategies of play and timing your attacks and defense. You are constantly measuring the balance of risk versus reward while using your legend cards to help. Now that you know how to play our game, please visit our website animalsandlegends.com for more information. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy our game with your friends and family.